the way I look at nuts is that nuts, so humans like nutrient dense foods. We choose them preferentially. Like it's a funny thing. Like if you have a choice between forgetting our own like proclivities that we learn in our lifetime, if you take the average person and put them in front of a stir fry of vegetables and a salmon and a salmon with broccoli, the average person, the statistical likelihood is the person's going to take the salmon with the broccoli 9 times out of 10, unless they have a particular negative disposition towards salmon. The reason being is the salmon is really nutrient dense. So your instinct is to go with that. Remember that in nature, to go get that salmon would have required effort, and the vegetables would not have. So in other words, imagine a restaurant that says, oh, well, you can have these 2 things, but to have the salmon, you have to run around the block 5 times first. Well, then you choose the stir fry a few times until eventually you're craving for the fats and protein that's strong enough. You go, oh, fine, I'll run around the damn block and give me my salmon. Nuts are a little bit like this. Like they're very nutrient dense. They're full of fat. They've got some nice carbs in them. They're good, lots of good proteins in them. But the challenge is that in nature, they require quite a lot of effort. And we've like undone that. So there's a really nice video that you should track down, or maybe somebody from my team can post it in the Facebook group for you. But it's a video of a young chimpanzee that was abandoned, and the old chimp is teaching him how to do it. Look at the effort involved in that. You got to go get them. And if you're smart enough, like a chimpanzee is, you're going to go get all of them and bring them into a plate, which is already a level of intelligence past the animal kingdom, right? Go get a bunch of nuts, bring them down. Now you've got them here, and you've got your rocks you've selected, and then you're smashing these rocks, right? And you see the old guy, he knows what he's doing. He's been doing it for 80 years. The young one, he's like, it takes him like 5 minutes just to break one open. It's huge effort for him. And he hurts his thumb, if I remember correctly. Like, it's not good. Now, what I'm getting at is that now we just go to the store and we go buy them in a jar, and there's no effort involved. And they're a cascade food by design. We're meant to like them and meant to want to get more of them. We are designed to have that motivation because we needed to have that motivation because it involved climbing trees. Incidentally, like one of the top 3 causes of death in Papua New Guinea is falling out of trees. I would assume the same is true for the Hadza Bushmen in Africa, because I've seen them climb unbelievably high up to get nuts and to get seeds and to get fruit and to get honey. So, like, this motivation is by design, but the problem we have now is that we have that motivation with easy access. That's like, frankly, 90% of our problem with food overall. Luckily, nuts aren't so dangerous like refined sugar. So here are my hacks. This is how I deal with it. This is what I would say. I don't know if your grandparents did this, but my grandparents had nuts in a bowl in the shells. When I went to their house, they had nuts in the bowl in the shell with the nutcracker. If you wanted to go have some walnuts, you were going to have to do some work. And you went over and it was fun. I remember my brother and I were so excited. We would even think of it as we were like landing at the airplane. We're like, oh my God, she's got the bowl of nuts with the nutcracker. It was more fun. But you know what? It slowed down nut consumption. Right? So hack number 1 is to buy your nuts in the shells. And by the way, pistachios, something terrible has happened to pistachios lately. People have started selling them out of the shell. This is a bad thing. It really is. I bought some the other day out of the shell. Deborah, I've never eaten so many pistachios. I will never buy them out of the shell again. It's just a bad deal for everybody. If they're in the shell, you have to use 2 hands to break them open. It slows the whole process. Then you share with others. But if you do as I found and you buy them, out of the shell, then you don't end up sharing them with very many people because they're so easy to eat. So hack number 1 is buy the nuts in the shell. And hack number 2 is to insert a personal promise. This is what I mean. You leave the nuts in the kitchen. You go get a handful of nuts. 1 is free. You want a handful per day is free. Then after that, you insert a personal promise, which is to say that before you will eat the nuts, you will do press-ups or 10 sit-ups, or you'll go for a walk around the block, or you'll do a 5 minutes standing yoga series, like something. And what happens is you just make that promise yourself. And here's what happens. You're sitting at your desk going, oh, I'm out of nuts. I should go get some more nuts. Ugh, I got to do the stretches if I go get nuts. Isn't it interesting? But then if you do go get the nuts, then you're doing something that kind of slows the whole process down. You won't eat them so quickly. Plus you're moving and you're using your body. like you would have to climb a tree to go get the damn things in the first place. So that's my answer on nuts.